There was a report in ProFootballTalk.com that could be a bombshell. And that is that Ezekiel Elliott, for my money, the best running back, okay, running the ball in the NFL. We know he wants a contract extension. So does Dak Prescott.
So do
and
I.
Amari Cooper.
Oh, actually,
right?
I got an extension. I know you want one too, Broussard. We all want extensions.
Yeah, we all like
deserve a contract extension.
But anyway, Zeke is talking about holding out, or at least privately. The report is that he's privately talked about holding out. So basically, it's on the table. Now, there have been a couple reports since then that said no decision's been made. It's just something that's on the table. McIntyre, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, this could be huge if indeed Ezekiel Elliott goes through with a holdout.
So he's on his rookie deal. He's currently the 10th highest paid running back in the NFL. Obviously, because of the rookie deal, can't do nothing about that. But I will say this, Chris Broussard, there is no doubt in my mind Ezekiel Elliott matters more to the Cowboys than Dak Prescott does. I'm sorry. I know Dak wants like $30 million a year, and quarterbacks are always more important, but Ezekiel Elliott is a special case here. Turns 24 later this month. Chris, led the league in touches last year, led the league in rushes, yards. The guy is a machine. I am of the belief Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, probably in the 15 to 20 range in the NFL, right? Ezekiel Elliott is top 3 at his position, no questions asked. Since he came to this team, they have instantly been a massive contender. Now, I know people are going to say, Jason, pump the brakes. Running backs don't matter. Look at Melvin Gordon. He's talking holdout. Melvin Gordon's asking for the world. The Chargers, without Melvin Gordon last year, went 4-0 and averaged 27 points a game. So how much do running backs matter? But Zeke is different, Chris. You know that. He is such a threat out of the backfield. He had 95 targets last year, 77 receptions. He is so instrumental as a 3-down back. You could argue he's the best blocking running back in the NFL. I think the Cowboys have to pay Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I'm with you. And look, for those who are wondering, Ezekiel's going into his 4th year. So it's not urgent. Like, he's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. But his thought is, look, I led the league in rushes, not just rushing yardage, but rushes 2 of the last 3 years. He wants to get that money locked up before he gets broken down. And he may get broken down. His running style, he can be elusive at times, but he prefers to just run you over. And I mean, how long is he going to last? I see it from both sides. I see it. If I'm an owner of an NFL team, I understand running back is not that important of a position. I hate to say it. These guys aren't irreplaceable. Okay, Melvin Gordon, there's a number I'd be willing to give him, but I am not breaking the bank for him. And I'm sorry, Melvin Gordon, you're not getting Todd Gurley money. Look at that. Gurley might be damaged goods for the rest of this contract. Yeah. David Johnson, that was a mistake. He played 1 game after signing that contract. Or that one season. And then last year averaged fewer than 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, don't forget Devonta Freeman of the Falcons got paid. He was one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL, currently 4th with the Falcons. He basically got hurt in the first game last year and was irrelevant. That's the problem, Chris, with paying the running backs. Now, I will say this.
Well, not only that, J-Mac, though, look at the top 10 in rushing. In 5th last year, Chris Carson, Seattle. A 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
9th was Phillip Lindsay, who averaged 5.5 yards a carry. He's undrafted.
Yeah.
Rookie. I mean, James Conner came in and produced. Now, I don't think he's better than Le'Veon Bell, but his numbers were better. Like, I can get Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara. These guys were 3rd-round picks. I can get a productive running back late in the draft, and he may not even be drafted.
And the other thing with Zeke is he's 6 foot 230, and he's a rocked up 230, Chris. You said he likes contact. I mean, he initiates it and has basically been injury-free throughout his career so far. He did have the suspension, obviously. But I will say this about Melvin Gordon. 15 pounds lighter, and he's had a lot of little nicks and injuries there. And I do think he's more replaceable, not as good of a receiving running back.
Austin Eckler was as productive, if not more productive. I know he's got more limited, usage, but he's averaged basically 5.5 yards a carry.
Yeah. Chris,
and Gordon averaged over 5 yards last year, but he's only averaging 4 exactly for his career.
Yeah. When you think about it, like the listeners out there, they're at their job, right? And you have your responsibilities. But what about the guy, Chris, who can do multiple things? He can help you on the tech side. He can help you on a little marketing, a little writing. Ezekiel Elliott is that guy. He's going to block. He's going to be a 3-down back. He's going to block, receive, and carry. Melvin Gordon is not a 3-down back. And listen, I do believe right now the running backs out there who can be 3-down backs, those are the guys that you pay, and there aren't a lot of them. I think Saquon Barkley, he's going to be one of those guys that you pay, right? Great blocker, explosive out of the backfield, and, of course, a great rusher. And Todd Gurley was the other, and now we hear about his arthritic knee. Other than those three, Chris, I'm sorry, I like Alvin Kamara a lot. Christian McCaffrey was in my neighborhood the other day at a football camp, and everybody spoke glowingly about him. He's a great human being, very talented guy. Chris, I don't know if he's a between the tackles guy. I don't think he's a 25 carry bell cow.
Oh, he's not.
He's
definitely not.
Zeke is. So these running backs, what do they say? Mama, don't let your kids grow up to be running backs?
Well, they say that now. I come from the day when running back was the glamour position in the NFL, right there along with quarterback. But it's not the case anymore. I'm with you, though. You know, this is odd because usually you and I disagree.
It's good.
Vehemently.
It feels good.
It feels nice.
It's refreshing.
We will get to some angst. There will be some anger and all
there's
that
no
later
anger,
in the show.
Chris. By the way,
we will go at it later in the show. But for now, we do agree. Look, Ezekiel Elliott, I would pay. He is that rare running back I would pay because you're right. The Dallas Cowboys are not the same without him. Dak Prescott is not the same without him. Amari Cooper won't be the same without him. This is a team that should enter next season thinking of winning a Super Bowl. If there's a problem with Zeke, then you're not winning a Super Bowl. You can forget those hopes. And if you let him sit out too long, you might not even make the playoffs. So he's a guy you got to pay. And I'm going to say this too. I know some people are like, well, he doesn't have leverage because of the off-the-field stuff. I don't like the off-the-field stuff. People know what I'm about. They know what I stand for. I don't like him pulling on the girl's blouse. I don't like him, looks like he was buzzing or drunk or whatever it was in Vegas recently.
Okay, well
I don't like the mayor being seen at the marijuana dispensary. However, the one really serious in today's society, the one really serious infraction for which he was suspended for 6 games, that was the domestic violence. That took place in college before he played a game in the NFL. And so he has not had something like that since he's joined the Cowboys. This other stuff is frat boy, hanging out, partying out. You like him to tone it down, but that's not the type of stuff that's necessarily going to keep me from signing a game changer like him.
I think it's fair to question some of the decision-making Zeke is doing off the field. And again, I'm not coming down hard on the guy. Again, he's a young 24-year-old. Chris, I was a young 24-year-old playboy in New York City trying to be cool.
Huh?
Well,
that's not what I heard.
On a newspaper salary, I was broke, and I was running up debt when I was 24 years old. But I had a good time. Listen, I can understand 24-year-old guys want to party and have fun. But if I'm the Cowboys, you know how we've heard stories about teams where they have a superstar who makes questionable decisions. He has like a handler, someone who's always with him to avoid confrontation and bad decisions. I'm not going to... Hey, Jerry Jones, you're a billionaire. Why don't you get Zeke a handler? I'm not saying somebody to hold his hand, but just somebody to hang around.
Yeah, a couple bodyguards or
But here's the thing, Chris, you know the mentality is Man, I don't need no bodyguard. I'm one of the toughest running backs in the NFL, the toughest sport in this country. I don't need no bodyguard.
Yeah, but you do.
He's making bad decisions.
He needs to understand, it's not even about you not being able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
He is a guy that's recognized. He's one of the rare NFL guys that's recognizable. You know, you don't only know, oh, that guy's big, he looks like he plays football, but you know Ezekiel Elliott, the hair, the beard, you know what he looks like. And so he is going to have people maybe test him. People try to get him in trouble. He's a target. So he needs a bodyguard and bodyguards for, as you said, to help him make better decisions, but to also keep people away from him. I agree with you. And let's not act like, the Cowboys' glory days in the early 90s, Michael Irvin, prime time Deion Sanders, it was a lot of mess going on. Let's not act like these guys are expected necessarily to be choir boys. Although I'd love to see them in the choir.
The hotel room with mounds of powder, according to some books and some reports back then. Yeah, but again, no social media back in the 90s with Irvin and those characters. Yeah, listen, as you said, Zeke is basically a target anywhere he goes right now. You can't act like you want to act at 24 when you are on the Dallas Cowboys, who undisputed, every show at FS1, every radio show nationally is going to talk about the Cowboys practically every day. Chris,
you just have to be smarter.
Yeah.
If you want to have a big party, have it at your house or rent someplace. You can do things and keep it out of the public eye. Obviously, there are many players that do their stuff and they keep it out of the public eye. Ezekiel needs to learn from that. But you and I are both in agreement. Yeah. Do you think Zeke is worth breaking the bank for? Or should the Cowboys play hardball and see if he's willing to really sit out? Let's get to the calls, J-Mac.
Listeners are as strong as the listeners on my Saturday Fox Sports radio show. Jonathan in Texas, you're on with Chris Broussard and Jason McIntyre.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's happening, man?
Hey, not too much. So I'm in Dallas, been a Cowboys fan my whole life. I think Zeke's been underappreciated for the last few years. He's basically carried the team, I think, in my opinion. But I wouldn't mind playing a little hardball with him. He's still got 2 years left on. He's still got 2 years left on his deal. And if he doesn't want to play, he's a tradable asset. I think we got a lot of guys that are gonna come up next year that we've drafted, and we want to get Jalen Smith. The line is getting older. We got some guys there. So I think giving Zeke a big contract is just a big risk right now, and he doesn't really have
What kind of
leverage.
season you think the Cowboys would be in for if he were to sit out and get traded during the year, if that kind of as you suggested?
It depends on what we get back for him. I think we can get pretty good value, good right now, but I wouldn't want to sign him to a long-term deal. That makes with all the stuff you guys are talking.
Yeah, here's the deal with and I love Zeke, and I said I'd pay him. But here's the deal. If you pay him, say, a Todd Gurley type extension for at least probably the second half of that contract, he's not going to be worth it. And it may be even more than that, because he's probably going to be worn down with his running style and his usage. So I get where the caller's coming from, but I think if you don't pay him, this season could go down the drain.
All right, Chris, let me quickly remind you, 2017, Zeke had the suspension, okay? Dallas was 5-3 when Zeke got suspended, and it did not work out for them well the rest of the way. Only went 3-3. All right, next up, Jason in California. You're on with Chris Broussard and Jason McIntyre.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's happening?
Hey, I was on the verge of saying pay Zeke, just because Dak needs him. It's kind of like with Gurley, with Jared Goff needs him. But really thinking about it, man, I don't think they should pay him, man. You can always look at Pittsburgh when Le'Veon went out, they had Connor. Even when Todd Gurley went out, they brought in C.J. Anderson and he balled out. So I don't know, man. I just feel like there's a lot of running backs out there, and you could do without, man.
Hold up, Jason. Let me Jason. Let me just remind you.
Zeke is that rare guy, but I hear where the caller's coming from.
You said Le'Veon Bell, goes out and James Conner comes in. You have Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. He's like a top 7 quarterback in the league. Dak Prescott's maybe 15 or 20, maybe.
And that's where, yeah. But that's because look at, I mean, with Todd Gurley too, man. He has Jared Goff, and you know, Jared Goff really needs that run game. So that's kind of where I'm like, man, I don't know if you should pay him, if you shouldn't pay him, this guy, just because, you know, what if let me ask you this: what if Zeke was in Pittsburgh? Would you guys pay him or no?
That too many variables to do the what if there, Jason.
Yeah,
Decent
but
idea.
I do think Connor is better than anything the Cowboys have to back him up. Yeah. And we saw what the Cowboys look like without Zeke.
Oh, boy.
They looked way worse than Pittsburgh did without Bell.
Rob G's teeing up this next call. Peter in Florida. You're on with Chris Broussard and Jason McIntyre. Peter, don't make my head explode. I think I know what you're going to say.
You saw when Pittsburgh had the quarterback, Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown, and Brady was worth way more than the three of them. And until they get rid of this quarterback at Dallas, they're not going to win a thing. It doesn't matter if they have 5 Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, hold on. What's your problem? Dak, I get it. He's not Patrick Mahomes or anybody like that. But I do think he's a winner. He's proven it. He's won more games than any quarterback except Tom Brady.
Patrick Mahomes is nothing. He hasn't won a thing.
Patrick Mahomes is nothing. So the MVP in his second year is nothing.
Has he won?
He's been a starter for 1 year,
right.
Peter.
His first year as a starter, he wins the MVP. Come on, my man.
Listen, and I listened to you guys about the basketball, and you'll say this. Larry Bird is never even mentioned. He won 3 MVPs in a row.
Mentioned for what? Like, Bird is mentioned in the top 10. What should be the GOAT? Is that what you're saying? And that was clearly a Boston homer.
All right, Pete,
look,
thanks
Bird is great.
Yeah,
Bird is fantastic, but no, not the GOAT.
Let's move on. Adam in Texas, you're on with Chris Broussard and Jason McIntyre. Ezekiel Elliott, your thoughts?
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Great, man. How are you?
Good, doing well. Hey, a lot of good arguments against Ezekiel Elliott. In my mind, I think you'd agree that in general, running back is a position where you want to find value. You don't necessarily want to buy the best guy available, right?
No question about that.
Yeah, and again, Dallas is a place where they built on the line and they've built success. And they've had success with other running backs, too. And maybe Ezekiel Elliott isn't totally necessary there, but I really think that this is a situation where you got to pay the guy, and it's not even necessarily because of how great Ezekiel Elliott is. It's because Dallas is they're just a hot January away from winning a Super Bowl. Just a couple wins. They have enough talent to make a run. And I don't think you want to rock the boat right now. I think you want to keep. Do you put
any of this on Ezekiel, though? I mean, like you said, you don't want to rock the boat, but he's clearly rocking the boat.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm with him. I get it. He's got to get paid. This is a short career. He's going to be banged up, and he could be on the decline by the end of his rookie deal. So I get him wanting to get paid. And I think they need him right now. He's doing it at the right time because, as you said, this is a season where they're thinking Super Bowl. And so I get what he's doing, like trying to do it right now when they need him most.
All right, thanks for the call, Adam. Listen, Chris, I think we're in agreement here, no doubt about it, right? That Ezekiel Elliott matters significantly. I got to ask you, do you think, Chris, and it just hit me, do you think in any way, shape, or form, all this Dak Prescott $30 million chatter, which is on every TV show, every reporter's talking about it, that's what Dak wants, do you think Zeke saw that and been like, hold up, don't go paying Dak and forgetting about me because I got to get mine here in short order?
Well, I think he's smart enough to understand the difference between quarterback and running back. Even though he is better than Dak is, I think he understands the situation. He's not asking for, obviously, that kind of money. But I think it's just these running backs are waking up. They're seeing that Le'Veon Bell, what he did. Now, he didn't get the money he thought he'd get, but he did get, a pretty good package. And so I think from him to Melvin Gordon, I think these guys are just saying, look, let me get paid. And then they look at Todd Gurley and David Johnson. And they're like, hold on. Let me get paid before I get used up.
Hey,
so
here's
really
one, Chris, before we go to break. Here's one. Ezekiel Elliott last year, 77 catches. Odell Beckham last year, 77 catches. I just thought you'd laugh at that, Chris. That's a funny one. I'm telling you, Zeke was tied for 22nd in the league in receptions as a running back, people.
Right. Zeke
it's
is the man.
such a key factor in that offense.
We love bringing in our next guest. He's a former Pro Bowl wide receiver and now a Fox Sports 1 NFL contributor, TJ Houshmandzadeh. Hoosh, what's up, man?
I'm doing great. How y'all guys doing this day?
We are great, brother. We are great. Look, a lot going on already as the NFL gears up for training camps. And now there's a report that Ezekiel Elliott is at least contemplating sitting out in hopes of getting a contract extension. If you're the Cowboys, whose contract do you have to prioritize, Dak's or Ezekiel's?
Oh, man, that's tough. It has to be both. You have to prioritize them both. And Ezekiel Elliott, he's doing the right thing. You got to, in the running back position, it's been shown. The Cowboys basically said to Tim, we're going to run DeMarco Murray into the ground, and then we're going to get rid of him.
Right.
And so, obviously, Ezekiel Elliott will be younger than DeMarco Murray was, but you got to strike when the iron's hot, so to speak. He is pretty much the catalyst of that offense. And who do you prioritize? For me, it's both, because when you look at Dak Prescott, he wins.
Oh.
And he has so much help. It can be a lot worse. Quarterbacks get way too much credit when they win. They take way too much blame when they lose. But when you have a good quarterback, you have to pay him. And the Cowboys, they've kind of screwed this thing up. They could have gotten Dak Prescott last year during the season for probably $25 million a year max.
Oh.
They're looking over 30 now. The longer they wait, the more expensive it's going to get. They better move. They better move quickly.
No, you could always just tag him and then let him go. I mean, Hoosh, I'm not a big Dak Prescott fan. What's up? It's Jason McIntyre. I got to ask you, Hoosh.
Jason doesn't like winning.
You're seeing this Melvin Gordon situation. You're seeing the Ezekiel Elliott situation. The running back position is in disarray totally. It's basically a young man's game, like you said. You get a young guy, you run him into the ground, and then you find another one. They're all over the place, whether they're undrafted, 6th round, 7th round. It doesn't matter. Running backs are easy to find. My argument for Zeke is that he's a 3-down back, and without him, I don't even think Dallas is a playoff team.
Ezekiel Elliott, at worst, he's a top 2 running back in the league, period. And, he's the type of guy he's taken for granted. You take him for granted. Oh, the offensive line is so good. Put somebody else back there and see if they're going to produce the same amount. It's just not going to happen. I mean, you look at that offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott, he can run by you. He will shake you. He will run over you. He'll pick up a blitz, and he'll catch a ball on 3rd down. He can do everything that you want a running back to do. You have to reward these guys. The problem is the CBA, it kind of hamstrings these first-round picks. They can lock you up for so many years, and then they just spit you out and get rid of you, like you said, after they run you into the dirt. And so, 1, that needs to change. And 2, these guys are doing the right thing with their career. It's not popular, but at the end of the day, the team, it's not a big, we're not going to pay you. We'll just keep you for 6 years. We'll franchise you, then we'll let you walk. But everybody, you can't wait that long. You have to get it while you can.
I mentioned Dak, and I like him. He's won more games than every quarterback except Tom Brady since he's been in the league. However, I think he's a game manager with playmaking abilities, particularly with his legs. So I'm not under any impression that he's Patrick Mahomes or anybody like that. You as a receiver, you know what a receiver wants in a quarterback. Does Dak have what receivers want, and to what degree does he have it?
Okay, let's break it down. So, obviously, as a receiver, I want to play with the Bradys, the Rodgers, the Brees, the Deshaun Watsons, the Mahomes, because they're going to get you the ball on time, and they would prefer to stay in the pocket over get outside the pocket. Now, with that being said, I'm looking for 2 things out of my quarterback. I want 2 things out of my quarterback, and these are very important. 1, be a winner, and 2, lead the team. Dak Prescott checks both of those boxes. When you have a quarterback that wins and he leads, you have to game manager. I don't call him what you want to call him, but you got to call him a winner. It can be a lot worse. And if the Cowboys don't sign him, they'll find out real quick. And it's like the wife that you divorced. Like, man, I got me a new lady, and I wish I had my wife back. Sorry, bro, she moved on. And so you better be careful. Dak Prescott, you can call him a game manager, but he wins, and he's a leader. That locker room follows him. You can't place a dollar on that. You cannot pay you. That's important. That's important when he says something in the locker room, and the players aren't really listening to the coach. Dak Prescott can galvanize the locker room, and he can take control of that. There's not many guys that can do it. I've been in the locker room where when the coach is talking, you're like, man, if you don't get your butt down here and just shut up, the players know that. And so that's when the leader of the team will say, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. He's going to reiterate the coach's point just in his viewpoint, the way he wants to say it, so that the guys get what the coach is saying. And the coach knows that. That means a lot to the team, the front office. They better get something done because it can be a lot worse. And if he leaves, they'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Hoosh, let me ask you off the Cowboys for a second here. I like to look at sleepers, when I'm picking teams, and you are a former Cincinnati Bengal. Hoosh, I don't know. I'm seeing some stuff with the Bengals. Remember, this is a team that started last year 4-1 before the injuries hit. I like the Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green combo. Don't sleep on them. I like Joe Mixon a lot. Hey, is there a case that the Bengals shock the world a little bit and sneak into the playoffs this year?
Oh, man, Jason, it's hard for me, man. When they were 4-1, after the first week, I said the Bengals are going to win the division. I was looking really good for 5 weeks, right? The problem with it is I played for the Bengals, and so I root for them. I do root for them. But if you look at the AFC North, the Browns have the best roster. The Bengals are not far behind. I mean, it's talent-wise, even with them losing their first-round pick, you look at their roster, what you're saying, you're 100%. If Zach Taylor can come in there and really put his imprint on this team, they have the talent. You're not too far off with that, man.
You like that?
They have. Oh man, and I don't want to be the one to say it because I don't want to come off like a homer. And don't forget, I'm working with John Ross, man. If he can implement the way he looks when we train, he gonna take.
Can he stay healthy, Hoosh? The guy's hurt every day.
Listen, he knows this. I'm real blunt. I'm real straightforward. I told him this show year, I don't care how you look when we train. If you can't translate it to the field, you have a problem mentally because it's not a physical issue with him. It's mentally. We've been doing a lot of things to take care of his body. Hopefully it pays off. But, yes, the Bengals have tremendous talent.
It's the Odd Couple joined by TJ Houshmandzadeh, former Pro Bowl wide receiver. Hoosh, what the owners are pushing now for 18 games in the regular season. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Chris, if I'm a player, I like it for two reasons. You get more money.
I'm surprised by that.
You get more. Like I'm gonna be honest. When I played, I love football, man. Like I loved it. And so you don't have to get on me to work out. You don't have to get on me to practice hard. I'm gonna go. I did scout team to the day I retired. I did scout team till the day I retired, and so I loved it, and I still do. But a couple of things, the players, they really have to make sure that they get what's important. And, yeah, you get more money, but those extra games, now, guys, you know what you need to fight for? Fight for lifetime medical insurance now.
Right.
Don't worry about the little extra $75,000 you're going to make. Fight for lifetime medical insurance. There's so many guys that have played 10, 12, 15 years, they don't even have insurance. Fight for that. If the NFL really wants these games, they'll put some money in the pot for lifetime medical insurance. To me, that's the most important thing that the players need to fight for. Fight for better benefits.
Over guaranteed deals?
Guaranteed deals in the NFL, I think, are coming, meaning they're just going to be short-term deals. You won't see these, and you're starting to see it a little bit now where the top players, they're not signing 6-year deals anymore. They're signing 3-4-year deals. 60, 70, 80% of the contract is guaranteed. So it looks like it's leaning that way. I don't see football ever really getting to the guaranteed full contract, 3-year deal, 4-year deal. You see Robbie Gould, he's a kicker. He pretty much has a guaranteed deal. So the short-term deals are pretty much guaranteed. I'm personally just from being a player, getting out of the league, these players need to get medical insurance because when you get to about 45, 50, 55, that's when the problems start to kick in, not after you retire. You're good for the first 10 years. It's after that. So if you're going to give the owners this, they need to give you that.
All right, you heard the wisdom. TJ Hushman-Zada joining the Odd Couple. We appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, man. You guys take care, man. It's burning up out here in L.A. today. It's crazy.
Well, enjoy it. All right, brother.